Hi guys, welcome to the world is your bowl of noodles, slurp noodles, and chat. I am the host Jordan Ibukwe, and today we have a very special guest who is the editor-in-chief of Lavender Liberty, which is a youth magazine that explores radical storytelling, resilience, and explores with youth voices. Please give her a hand; she is absolutely phenomenal. And go check her out on her Instagram, and I will link it out on the bottom. And now that you guys are here, please go check out the world is your bowl of noodles as well. And let's get into the interview. All right, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Hi, my name is Oluwasindara Opeyele. I am from Lagos, Nigeria, despite the fact I was originally born in the US. My parents are from Abeokuta, Ogun State, and I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Lavender Liberty.
That's amazing. And I want to go into the first question, and I want to know what inspired you to create this magazine and what personal experiences filled your focus on rage and radical storytelling.
Okay. I think I was about 14, I was going through Instagram and I came across a bunch of youth designs, specifically literature designs. I also started to notice that there were a bunch of designs focused on music and economics as well. However, it was very rare to see a design that was focused on political storytelling alone. And even the ones that were there, they were typically short-lived, like they didn't really have that much of an effect until later on, or even if they did, they just kind of like the dream or the aim just died off as time went by. So in order to like get my extracurriculars up and also like make a huge like world impact, I decided I was going to create Lavender Liberty. Now the entire focus of Lavender Liberty is to turn rage into radical storytelling, resistance, and social activism as a way to portray resistance, social activism, and justice. So the reason why we focus typically on rage is because rage is such a characteristic that is synonymous to being a youth or just being youthful and being in that demographic, right? And where I come from in Nigeria, there's a lot of people say, oh, the youth are lazy, the youth are this, the youth are always angry, specifically with the Generation Z. Sorry. Specifically with Generation Z, I've noticed that there's always that pushback, and I really wanted us to actually like have a platform, give a platform to use to turn that rage into a catalyst for change and development in the society.
Exactly. And just like that, you're doing it right now. Your magazine is already showing a major big impact in Nigeria and all over the world. And I'm glad that you give the youth a voice and a space to express their anger and create it into radical storytelling as well. And maybe for our viewers
Thank
out,
you.
welcome. And I maybe some people don't understand the meaning of radical storytelling, but how do you define radical storytelling and what makes it different from traditional forms of media or journalism?
Okay, radical storytelling is to portray the rawness of each emotion in every literary piece. What Lavender Liberty is trying to do right now with our upcoming independent issue is to not put people in a box, meaning that when it comes to storytelling or people just getting a platform for their own voices, we don't want them to focus on only written pieces or written media forms. We want them to be able to go all in and express themselves in diverse media forms. So the main essence of radical storytelling is to be able to transfer the rawness of each and every emotion and pour it all into whatever is being written to provide some sort of clarity to the youth. Because in a world where mental health is such a important topic, as a topic that is now becoming unstigmatized, we really need to have that healthy platform for youth to talk about their opinions and talk about their emotions without being chastised by the older generation, just
Right.
for them to be able to talk about things that matter to them the most, and also having that creative liberty to do so.
Yes, that's important because just like you said, Gen Z is always portrayed as lazy, not,
Yeah,
smart, and by the older generation. But our version of empowerment leadership is much more different from what 1940s, 1915 young people were doing.
exactly.
So the fact that you are addressing that and giving clarity within the issues that matter to us, especially just mental health. And I feel like mental health in Africa isn't addressed more. I was talking to someone in Kenya and she addressed that mental health in like just African homes and African like culture isn't as pushed on as much as we are supposed to like do. And so it's good that more of like just more magazines, especially your magazine, is bringing more empowerment and voice to that issue. And I do want to move on to resilience and empowerment. And I want to understand creating politically charged content can be emotionally and mentally taxing. So how do you sustain your own resilience in your work?
Mm. It's honestly speaking, before when I first started Lavender Liberty, the main aim was to transform feminine softness into a motive for impact. But that would shrink the demographic that I'm trying to reach. So the way we make it less emotionally taxing to create like politically charged content is to first of all expand the demographic. Don't say it's one particular gender versus another gender because that's going to cause problems. What we're now focused on now is to making sure that um we lead with care, we lead with empathy, like we put ourselves in other people's shoes. Because there were times when like I had my stuff in between like the launch of our first collaborative issue, Broadcast for the Margin. I had two of them say, one of them said that they had been admitted to a mental institute, and that really stuck with me that this person had been going through a lot. Would I now then say that, oh, this person should now go and do work for our issue? Like, no, I can't say that. We have to lead with care. We have to empathize and understand the situation. So I told her, I said, hey, take as much time as you need because the mission that we're doing is as emotionally draining as it can be. So you have to go out and focus on that. Another person said that, oh, that their grandma or something was their grandparents were not doing so well. And I said, hey, don't worry, I'll take over the graphics aspect of our magazine that was coming up. And it's just to make sure, just to like show that you care about people. They will always come back to you because you have shown to them that not everything has to be cast in stone. Like you don't have to do it now, you don't have to do it then. You have to just show and appreciate all the effort that they've put in so far. Also give them that break when they need to.
Exactly. And just, I love that you understand and show compassion. If you take time and you understand, okay, people, we're living,
Mm,
and it's important that we understand that we need to take time. This mission is just not some one-time quick thing that we're supposed to do. It'll take some time, it'll take some steps to like understand that, okay, we need to just relax a bit. But I'm glad that you have that balance as well when writing your magazine. Like there's always a time to work, 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 but also a time to rest as well. And I want to know, can you share a moment where you felt particularly empowered through the creation or sharing of story in your magazine?
okay, I think like the particular piece was Test of Greedy by Uvashi, which it was a poetry that highlighted because she's one of our staff poetry writers, right? It was a poetry piece that highlighted the capitalism of a lot of economic systems, right? And how it has given a platform to greed and ignorance by those who are in power, that they feel like collecting the wealth of the masses is something to be proud of or something to display on like a global stage. So she was talking about her irritants, and it really went to show how much we wanted our audience to feel before they learned, because you cannot relate, you'll not be able to make someone relate if they haven't felt what you're discussing about or felt what you're trying to tell them about. Learning, then the learning part now comes later on, because then they'll be able to relate to the problem that is being discussed, and then they can now talk about it in depth and really work things like find a way to push things forward, like solve different things concerning that particular issue. However, like I feel like that was the first time I actually really understood the impact of what I had created. That in addition to when I was collecting submissions for our first collab issue with Next Wave Political Magazine, Broadcast from the Margins, which was to amplify marginalized voices and also make such demographics like their thoughts and opinions pushed out to the world stage. Like that, when I was reading the piece specifically about the Palestine and Israel war, how she was talking about her own experience being oppressed um by Israeli students, like it was a fictional piece, right? It really made me understand what exactly we were doing and how far we had come from the beginning.
That's amazing. And I love that you highlight the voices of the youth all over the world and their stories and what they've dealt with because it's giving them a space to express their own trauma, their own just the things that they've went through. And
Yeah,
the fact that you can share that to the world and youths like me and people around the world can relate to some of those stories, especially during the Palestinian and Israel war. Children are being killed. This just life itself is just being wrecked in our eyes. And
mm,
the fact and we live in such a dystopian world. The fact that we can be here talking and having a casual conversation while there's kids starving, hungry, with no food. And so you share
yeah.
light on this issues is very important. And I do want to go into what role do you think youth leadership plays in challenging dominant narratives and systems of power of today?
Youth leadership isn't something that we should hope for in the future, it's something that we should be fostering in the present. Also, coming from a continent that is plagued by dictatorship and those who want such a grip of power, specifically in African society, it has come to my realization that there are less youth in government, there are less voices of people not even, I wouldn't even say like youth per se, but people that are less than the age of 40. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, okay, how exactly can we evoke change when the people who make up a good majority of the demographic of several nations across the world are not even allowed to be a part of the conversations that would help foster that change? So I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, this is time for us to actually question the narrative that we have been told all along. We need to rewrite the tone of activism. We need to talk more about the things that matter, and also to amplify that with our creativity is a more innovative way to do it, because that's one thing that they cannot take away from us. They can't say that we should stop writing. They can't say we should stop listening or stop absorbing media that they are trying to censor from us. Specifically, if you come from a very privileged background, you're always going to have access to these type of media forms. But what really makes a difference is when you turn that knowledge that you have gained, the intelligence you have gained, into actionable and measurable like steps. Like you are able to actually make a change, whether physically, whether online, it's still a change no matter how great or small it is.
Exactly. Like you said, whether big or small, you are making a change no matter what. The fact that youths are really committed into getting into those leadership roles, into becoming the next politicians and lawmakers is absolutely phenomenal. And your impact is also helping kids as well who want to be journalists, who want to be news reporters, who want to reach out and create their own magazines as well to empower, you're empowering the next generation, which is a beautiful cause that you're doing. And I wanted to take a quick break and tell my viewers out there, please go support Lavender Liberty. Her magazine is absolutely amazing. If you're looking for a place of just well-spoken or just creativity and just radical storytelling, please go check out her magazine. I believe are there also open submissions for anyone who might want to like release some of their writing as well?
Yeah, okay, so basically our blog is 100% acceptance rate. We just want to see people talk about their issues or talk about their personal opinions on a lot of political issues. I just really wish that everybody would stick to this theme. Is anything political, anything social activism, anything social justice. However, there are several prompts in the submission form, which is in the link in our link tree on our Instagram page at the Lavender Liberty. You can go and check it out. We also have submissions open for our first independence issue called Grief as Gospel, in which we are using mourning as a mobilization to remember those who we have lost and what exactly we need to keep fighting for.
That's amazing. And I'll definitely link the whole Instagram on my below so people can go put check it out as well. And please go support her. Her impact is absolutely amazing.
Thank
And
you.
like us are doing the stuff that a lot of you guys can do. So if you fear that you might not be able to do something or you're afraid that you it might not work, go for it. You never know the impact that you can create. And so please go check us both out, Lavender Liberty, The World is Your Bowl of Noodles, and let's go back into the episode. And now I want to go into content, 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 impact, and vision. And
Okay.
what's one story or piece published in your magazine that had a significant impact on your readers or on you?
Hmm. I I think it was Substitute by Boblinko, and it was under the poetry section of our broadcast on the Magic Collab issue. And Boblinko, she's from Czechoslovakia, and what she did was she highlighted how you can easily be replaced by a political system that advancement for your own can easily exploit you. And I remember it was such a short piece, like I think it was about 10 to 15 lines. And it's really, really like it made so much sense the way she was making concise but convey so it was originally a blog piece and I reached out to her and I said, hey, can we put this on our issue? And she was like, yeah, we can. And I remember reading it, I was just like, so many people have been thinking like this, however, they've not been able to express it because they feel like their voice is too small or it's not as lengthy as they see on the screen. And I'm just here to tell you that you guys can always submit things that no matter how short, like a lot of the ideas that you guys have on your notes app are really things that could get people going or get people motivated to actually submit their pieces or actually share their voice. Like when I just read that piece, I just remember thinking, I was just like in that state of reflection for a while, and I was just like, as short as this thing is, it made so much sense.
That's exactly like just from you talking, expressing your own list like magazine, I felt empowered as well. And imagine people who have just like notes and notes and notes of writing, they never know like if you they can just release it out, the amount of impact that or the emotion that they can release from the writing. So I believe writing has power and
Mm,
words have so much just meaning to them. I feel like even just like from what I believe, words are really heavy and in society, we make words seem like they are cheap, that they're just easily said. But back then, words had power. Like if you said something,
yeah,
it was like, whoa, okay, wait, let's take that back a bit. So really, like writing is such a special like gift, and that's why whenever I see book bannings or just like people banning books or just like downplaying writing, I'm like, do you understand the power of just words and just the text in front of you? And so it's honestly amazing how young people can just write
mm.
beautiful poems and just
I
master.
feel like okay, so yeah, like I remember when I was hearing about the book ban for George Orwell's book 1967. And this was a book that I told myself that like I really wanted to wake up one day and read. I hope I didn't get the title wrong, but yeah, I remember it was under the list of books that the Trump administration wanted to ban, and I was like, why would you want to ban such a phenomenal book? Because this book was a book that a lot of teachers would recommend their students to read in class, like as summaries and stuff. So I'm wondering, like, if not anything, but the impact that the book might have made into changing people's way of thinking, is that what makes it a threat to the administration? Is that what makes it a threat to political parties? And I'm just thinking, I'm like, if we continue at this rate that we're going, specifically in a country that is known for advocating for freedom, it is only going to censor the freedom of speech that everyone idolized or everyone loved about that particular country.
Exactly. And just like one of the books as well that I was reading, Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, I just found out it's a banned book.
Mm,
It's like my friends went to a fair and they said like, yeah, his books were on the banned book section. And I was like, whoa, really? Like those one of the best African writers book is on banned books. And I'm just like, when did that happen? I know like oh even at school, I was showing like a lot of my teachers know who Chinua Achebe, like his books, and I'm just like, it's just how why do you ban books that have so much culture and meaning? And I was so shocked. And I believe books have power. And if you just can't stand a book, then don't read it. Don't look at it. Like there's other
yeah.
people much more interested in that book than you. So honestly, thank you for just addressing that as well. And I want to go into the second to last question. And I want to know what's your long-term vision for the magazine? And how do you want it to evolve as you or your peers grow?
Okay. I really, really want Lavender Liberty to become a movement in which youth use soft rage as a way to express their opinions. And the reason why I say soft is because Whenever people think of it, they think about anger, they think about destruction, they think about protest. But rage is just as authentic as that emotion is, it doesn't mean it should be discredited. So
Yeah.
using the word soft is to ease the blow on what people think rage is all about, and also categorizing like rage to not just be a particular gender's raw form of emotion. Like I really want Lavender Liberty to have a more global audience in the sense that we're getting invited to talk to females, males, everybody around the world about things that are actually pressing our society, things that if we like all come together and agree, we can actually move forward to make that actual change, whether in the climate change crisis, whether in the social justice crisis that we are experiencing today, in silencing people's views and opinions because of their gender or because of they're not part of the majority, they're part of the minority. Like I really want to see Lavender Liberty reach that point in its existence where it is being recognized as an international platform by great media houses, and also like trying to push forward the agenda of love and care.
Hmm. That's beautiful. And I'm definitely on with you. Like my podcast, I really do want a youth movement as well. I want a movement where the youth can take in, like you said, make change all over the world, not just from like my local place. I want it to go beyond that. And so it's just beautiful how you want to see that happening as well for your magazine, which I believe it will happen through time and through just a lot of work. It will come to be. And so keep pushing that and keep making a change. Like, just it's phenomenal the work that you're doing and just the passion and love that you have for what you do. So please keep doing and never let anyone silence your voice. But I do want to get into the last question. And I want to know, it's a really funny question, really out of the seriousness of the conversation. But I want to know, what is your favorite bowl of noodles?
Oh, to be very honest, I do not eat much noodles. However, the ones I've eaten, I really love Shin Ramyun. Um, it's this black, it's like in a black, white packet or something like that. I really love it because of the spice. Like I never used to be somebody that tolerated spice that much, but like now I really love it because of the spice. But I rarely take noodles because my parents don't buy too much in the house. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite bowl of noodles.
No, are you talking about the Budok noodles?
No, there's another brand called Shin Ramyun.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Shin, yeah,
that one.
that's the brand. Yeah, I really love that brand.
I love that one.
I feel like Bulak is a bit too bulky.
Yeah, it's really bulky and it's not one of my favorites, but I love Shin ramen, especially just like Indomie. I had that's childhood in a pack. So I love
Yeah.
yeah, it's my favorite thing with egg. I just grew up eating like that type of stuff. Even though it's bad, I've
Mm,
controlled it and I've limited how much I eat. Maybe I eat once a week.
so,
I just
mm,
love Indomie, and so I'm just so glad that you know we all have the similar like love for like Shin ramen noodles. So that's amazing.
yeah.
But thank you so much, Lavender Liberty, for coming into the Noodle Pod. You are absolutely wonderful and keep making a change. Keep doing what you do and don't let anyone stop you at all because this is honestly an amazing impact that you're doing for yourself and for the world and for the youth as well.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day and God bless.
You too. God bless you.